All right, it's pretty windy up here, but hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to what's left of our top deck, our very top sketchy deck. Today we are taking off the rest of these wood boards. We've only got a couple more to go, but mostly just the plastic lumber ones because we're gonna take it and we're gonna go down there into our garden and make a new garden box and show you how we do that. Wow, it's windy up here. Hopefully you got to hear any of that. But what we like to do is recycle our wood here. If it has life, then we give it a second life. Or in this case, probably a third or fourth. All right, let's start hitting. All right, not sure if this microphone will reach that far, but you can see me up here. Time to bring down all the other plastic lumber that's on the deck up here and we'll cut it to size so we can build the garden bed. I think we're just gonna make it a normal 8x4 garden box with nice little tops to sit on, like one of our garden boxes we have in there already. I'm gonna cut it all to length. That way we can bring it over to the garden and put it together pretty easily. And this is where the garden box is gonna go, right here in this area. We're gonna take this little guy out. And I made garden boxes like that before and like that, but we wanna make it more like this. So it'll have some supports on the side and something to sit on. So we can easily reach in and harvest things that are in our box. All right, it might not look like a lot, but pretty much I'd say 95% of all the wood is cut now. I've got 6 8-foot, or they're 91 inches, so 5 inches short, pieces for the sides, because that's the best I could do to get them cut in half for all the long pieces I had, to make it last the best that I had, or to reuse it the best that I could. I've got 6 4-foot pieces, and those probably go on the outside so that I can actually get a little bit more extra inches. I've got a bunch of my little braces, which are gonna go up vertical so that I can have, say I have it like this, and I'll have 1, 2, 3 stacked and I can screw it. And those will be on the outside, and that'll be what my shelf that I'm gonna sit on is going to be supported by. So I've got all those. You can pretty much bring that all over and we can get quite a bit of it screwed up. And then I've got 2 pieces back there, which are gonna be used for the 4-foot sides to sit on. And I've got this one long piece here, and I'm actually gonna need to get another one because I gotta go look for it. I think we have one. That's gonna be for our long spot to sit on. And one of the reasons we're building it out of plastic lumber is because this garden box down here, hopefully you can see that, is rotted out and busting. This thing just isn't holding up quite as well as plastic lumber does. And so that's what we're gonna use. You might be thinking, well, there's paint on it. It's not really good to be putting in your soil or near your soil. It could leach in or could break down into it. And thought about ways that I could get rid of it. I mean, I could sand it and put a vacuum on it. That's probably the best way, is if I use that method. At least all the paint dust and all that kind of stuff is getting sucked up into a vacuum. The way I wanted to do it was pressure wash it, but that's gonna send paint flying everywhere. So I just couldn't really think of an effective thing to do. It isn't gonna take a ton of time. So it is what it is. I mean, you're recycling wood, so you kind of work with what you got, and that's what I'm doing here. So I need to move this little tiny flower bed right here and move it over the fence. I'm gonna go get a hand with that. Well, it's close to impossible to find the perfect day to come out here, so it's still noisy and hot today, but we're gonna come out, and it's about 3 days later. Gonna build this box, put it up in this spot, and get into it. All right, first 2 are behind me. Those are gonna be the 2 4-foot sides. This is the 8-foot side, it's 91 inches. But I'm just placing a vertical piece and then putting the pieces on top, screwing them all down. And then all of these will be the outsides, and that will be the inside of the box. I'm trying to put the least amount of stuff with paint on the inside, just so none of that leaches in or falls off into the box. Worms can break down paint. I'm gonna keep going on these big sides. Once that's done, I'll show you kind of the frame and how I'm gonna put it all together. Okay, they're all done. Let's form them up. All right, that's pretty much how I think I'm gonna have it. So it'll be something like that once I square it up, just so that this piece of plastic lumber is beyond that much, so I can just screw it in to all connect it up. Just gonna make sure that the pieces of wood that I go across here to sit on still look good or kind of work. I don't want to have to cut all this stuff off for them to line up, because ideally if you have it right here, both of those will come up here, and then you'll just do a miter and have the 45 angle cut come together. But if I do that, I'll have to do it kind of how I did a box over here, which is you put like a 4x4 right here and then just screw it in this way to connect it all. But this is the general idea of how it's gonna be laid out. I'll find a way to connect it probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight. We'll see. But I gotta go to a soccer game right now. Be back, and then we'll figure out how we want to connect this once we know what the top pieces are gonna look like. Because I haven't cut those yet, because I want to make sure I don't cut them too short for the miters. All right, got the top all cut. Gonna make that a little bit shorter back there, and then we'll screw it down. All right, we got the dirt to fill that raised bed. I'm gonna put all the stuff in the bottom, show you the whole process about how we do raised beds. First layer of the box, cardboard. What it's gonna do is it's gonna be a weed barrier on the very bottom of your garden box, as well as when it gets wet and breaks down, it is great food for worms. Next thing I like to do is put a bunch of brown stuff in here, and I'll go through what I mean by that. All right, and this is what the box looks like when it's all done. I'll show you what the soil looks like after about 2 weeks of being covered with the wood chips and being watered almost every other day. Pull back some of these wood chips, and see how this soil is doing already. Looks like there's already lots of bugs in here, and it's looking pretty solid. Pretty happy with how this turned out. The soil is now ready to be planted in, and I'm excited to start utilizing this box behind me. But this is a little bit more relaxed of a video. We built, went to the beach, and it took about 4 or 5 days to finally get it all done, get all the dirt over here. But now it's done, and we have another spot where we can grow food for our family. So if you guys are interested in building boxes and you want to find a way to build one that's easy to get into on both sides, 4x8 is a pretty good size, and having those little ledges is really great to pick all your plants from. So pretty stoked to use it, and thank you for watching. Bye.